Okay, hold
I can
on.
edit it.
I need to work on the student moves and teacher moves. Okay, we could do this.
Sorry.
No. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I can just look
All
at
right,
that.
all right, all right. All right, so, hey, Miss Amanda, thank you for meeting with me today.
Yes.
I know I sent you some documents to like pre-write before the
Yes.
meeting, and so I
Mhm.
know that took a while, so thank you for filling that out and taking the time to do that.
No problem. Thank you for helping me with this.
Yeah, no problem. So, tell me about the lesson that you would like for me to observe for you.
So I'm going to be working on the discovery of gold in California, how the impact and the change about the gold rush. So I'm just going to go over the learning objectives. So students will be able to explain how the discovery of gold in California affected the population, economy, government, and during the gold rush. So I already came up with some ideas for the assessment, some key points. Opening, I was probably going to show like a video of the gold rush to kind of get them, what we're going to be talking about. Here's my introduction to new materials, like guided practices, maybe small groups, talk, turn around and talk. Some independent practices, which I was thinking of, which I came up with the questions, maybe an exit ticket.
Oh, okay.
Like my closing, just maybe conduct a quick share out where students can read their journal entries. That was kind of what we were gonna work on, and summarize key things. Maybe if they finish early, I have an activity, for the ones that finish early, and some homework if I need to present homework that week, and then the California standards that I will be aligning my lesson to.
Awesome.
So,
That sounds fun.
yes, I'm super excited.
Yeah, and so how does this lesson tie into the CSTP's or the California teaching standards?
Okay, so the ones that I picked were CSTP 1.1 standard and 2.6. So 1.1 was using knowledge of the students to engage their learning, and 2.6, I believe it was, employing classroom routine procedures and norm support positive behavior to ensure, students can learn.
Great, awesome. And so why did you select this lesson?
I think, like, again, the prior knowledge, because when I talked about it, because it was the next unit, so I told them, like, hey, what we're going to be talking about, and so they kind of were, like, engaged with me, like, oh, is it about, like, the is San Francisco 49ers team, like, their logo, and I told them we're going to talk about entrepreneur, and some of the kids already had said their parents were small business owners, so, and plus I am too, so I was able to, like, interact with them, and I think it'll be a fun one since I am too, so.
That sounds fun. And so during your lesson, what teacher moves would you like for me to observe while you're teaching?
Okay, so some of the teacher moves is make sure I'm asking open-ended questions. I know you reminded me about the turn and talk, make sure they're turning and talking and engaging with the students, and then helping the students that are Spanish first, and so making sure I maybe adjust the lesson to help with them, and then make sure if you could help me with, or I know you had told me about it, is with the positive behavior, because that was one of the reasons why I picked 2.6, is reminding myself to praise the students that are working individually versus also the whole group. So
I see, okay. And so if I heard you correctly, so asking open-ended questions to kind of activate their prior knowledge.
yes,
Having them turn and talk.
yes,
Differentiating for the students that are English learners.
yes,
And then possibly like low students too.
yes.
And then also making sure that you are reinforcing positive behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so what about student moves? What would you like for me to observe during that?
So making sure that they're talking and staying on task, and making sure they're respecting other people who are talking. So I know that comes down to behaviors. Is when somebody's talking, I don't like it when the other students are talking, because it's disrespectful. You know what I mean? And you're not giving your classmate, the total respect that they deserve when they're talking. So those are kind of the two things.
Okay, so making sure that they're staying on topic while
Yeah.
they're turning to talk
talk.
to each other.
Mhm.
And then also making sure that they're respecting others while they're listening or
Yeah.
talking to each
Yes.
other. Awesome. And so, how would you learn or know yourself as a teacher while you're teaching the lesson or after if the students mastered the lesson?
So that to see if they were mastering the lesson is, I think, from the project that I planned on doing was the Gold Rush plan, and they're gonna have to come up with their own business plan. They're gonna have to draw a poster and come up with the price, so it can be like a service that the students are gonna provide, or business plan like shaving, or maybe a hotel room, entertainment. So they're gonna have to come up, they could either do it as a partner or individually. And again, some of the students says their parents were small business owners, so maybe they're able to interact and their parents can help them with this project. So that's why I feel like I'll be able to learn. And then also from maybe exit questions or some questions I can use maybe in like a mini quiz, just to see if they're meeting all the stuff that we're going to be talking about.
Okay, so yeah, sounds like you're gonna assign them a project.
Yes.
And possibly like an exit ticket or something
Yes.
like that. Okay, sounds good. And how will the students know that they have met the learning expectations?
So I have like a graded rubrics, but it's more or less if they've met like the business plan part. Did they make the poster? Did they come up with the price? Like what did they put the effort into doing it, and then they're going to present it. So it's more or less like an overall, not like, hey, every detail, but it's like, did they meet all those, standards that I have for this project?
Perfect. And how will you differentiate for different students? So like the Spanish speakers, the students that are not as high.
So for the Spanish, we're going to go over it in English, but they have I've assigned like students to like translate for the ones that need to be translated for. And so I rotate those out so somebody doesn't feel like they're always having to, translate, but they're able to do the business plan in Spanish and present it in Spanish to make them comfortable.
Awesome. And let's see. So it sounds like you want me to observe you for the CSTPs on activating prior knowledge. So
Yes.
that's CSTP 1.1, and then also reinforcing positive behavior and standard 2.6.
Yes, behaviors. Yeah, I have a lot of behaviors in the class. So
All right, so we identified those. We looked at your lesson
yes.
that you're gonna present during the observation. So in terms of next steps,
Okay.
I'm going to come in, observe you,
Mhm.
and then I'm also gonna record you, which
Okay.
is what you already gave me consent
Yes.
to, so thank you. And then after the recording and the observation, we're gonna have another meeting,
Okay.
and we're gonna reflect and discuss how your lesson went.
Okay.
And so during that meeting, we're going to talk about the CSTPs and how you did with those, addressing those, and
Okay.
then also how the students did. And
Okay.
we're going to take a look at student work, student samples
Okay.
together,
Okay.
and then talk about next steps then.
Okay.
Do you
Sounds-
have any questions about that?
Yeah, the one question I did have is when we do our student standards, is it like per lesson? Is it per like semester, or is it like we have to meet all these student standards throughout the whole year? And so I guess I'm just sometimes I get, like where do we have to do that? Is it per lesson?
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. So for these specific standards that we chose today, it's going to have to do with the specific lesson that you're teaching
Okay.
right now with
Okay.
this.
Okay.
But you can apply these standards moving forward throughout the year
Okay.
and throughout your other lessons.
Okay. So you'll
But for
help me
now-
like figure out like making sure my
Right.
lesson plans, like you're doing that, you're meeting that, or you're doing whatever you're doing. So you're gonna like help guide me to make
Yeah.
sure I meet most of the standards or meeting standards
Specifically for
since
this
one.
lesson.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, and then the one other question is, I know sometimes like, do we really know what the students are learning? So like, you told me like exit tickets are a really good thing, which I, came up with some questions. But like, what if we give them an exit question? Because like, I came up with 10, so I'm not going to give every student the same one, so they're not kind of like copying or something. But how, like, what if they don't know that certain question? Is it something like I sent home and they have to like do it at homework, or do they come in during the recess? So those are kind of like, if they don't like understand, how am I going to address it
Okay.
at that point?
So yeah, I'll take a look at that, and then I'll come up with some strategies,
Okay.
and then we can talk about it during that meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. Perfect.
All right,
Thank you so much. Okay.
Appreciate
No
your
worries.
time.
Thanks.